Hello, Tom Simmons here again, and this is the third video in a three-video series devoted to the marketing concept. In our first video, we looked at establishing a target market. In the second one, we looked at developing a marketing mix that would convey the value of our product to that target market. And in this video, we're just going to wrap up a few loose ends of some other concepts that will affect how we market our good. And one error that many businesses will make is they do all this work putting their marketing plan together, and they've got everything nailed down, and then things change. And in the business world, we've got to be willing and able to flex and to keep our eyes on changes that are taking place out in the marketplace, out in the environment, and among our customers. So I'd like to touch briefly on just a few of these other issues that will affect us as we change the plan that we've so lovingly set in place. The first is understanding our consumers' buying behavior, the values that go into and the pressures that go into the decisions that our customers are going to make. Most people are affected to some degree or another by peer pressure. Now, in the marketing realm, we call those reference groups. But as a general rule, people are looking around them in the workplace as to what other people have, or what they've bought, or what services they receive. They are looking at the people they go to school with for the same thing. What does everyone else have? What's the newest thing? Could be in your neighborhood. What are the toys that everyone else in the neighborhood has in their yard, whether it's a snow blower or a lawnmower or a hot tub or something else. And there's a certain pressure for people to conform, to have what everyone else has. And if these people are your customers, then they may be persuaded to buy something that someone else is offering because you haven't gotten there first. So we need to look at buyers' behavior and how that is changing and how it is affected by maybe even people who aren't our customers, but who are affecting our customers. The second is to understand that every product has a life cycle. You launch a product, you get it out there, you're introducing a new product to the marketplace. After that, if it takes off, you've got a period of growth. And it's during this growth where your sales are expanding, your profit is increasing, and you're thinking you finally got it right. After that, the product matures because people already have it. Maybe they don't need another one, maybe they want a replacement, but it's a mature item. And then after that, that product declines. And there are diminishing profits to be obtained by continuing to sell something that is beginning to look a little old or a little obsolete. I know from my own life, dating myself a little bit, when I was a young preteen, I started out with a reel-to-reel tape recorder. And then I progressed through an 8-track in my car, to a cassette, to buying CDs. And now I listen to XM radio, XM Sirius, or stream through Pandora or one of the other streaming services. Because product life cycles start and they end, and they're replaced by something else. And you need to be ahead of that curve, ready to offer the new thing. Which is why so many soft drink companies or even potato chip companies will offer special editions, limited editions, a seasonal edition of something. And if that takes off and people like it, they might add that to their product line. And if it doesn't go so well, then okay, we tried it. It was a seasonal operation, and now we'll go on to something else. In identifying new products for our product line and deciding how long we're going to try and market our newest product. Very often, businesses or marketing firms will conduct focus groups or conduct surveys. And this gets very tricky because many people think, well, they can just write a survey and get people's response to it, and that'll give them the information they need. It is very difficult to write a survey that does not lead the person you're speaking with to give the answer that you want. For instance, I used to work for the state of Massachusetts, and every year the state would pay us to do, this is the Department of Transportation, they would pay us to do surveys of people on their way to work or home from work or tourists in a tourist area. And one of the things we had to ask them on the survey is, would you be in favor of increased public transportation? Now, in the marketing world, we call this a do you like ice cream question. Because of course everyone is going to say yes. And in fact, every year, 90 to 98% of everyone answering the survey said, oh yes, I think that would be great. Public transportation is wonderful. It's a great way to get around. It's green, rah, rah, rah. And then the state would put on new runs. They'd add additional public transportation options. And you know how many additional riders they got? Zilch. Nada. Zero. Because everyone thinks it's a great idea. That doesn't mean those people are actually going to purchase the product or service that you're offering. They just think it's great in general. So it becomes very, very important when conducting surveys or when conducting focus groups, which are groups of people sitting around in a circle as you discuss new product ideas, that you don't say, hey, we've got this new product. Do you like it? Do you think this is great? And very often, new businesses, as they're starting, will tell all their friends about the product that they are going to launch. And their friends are saying, oh, this is great. People are going to love this. You're going to do great. Are they going to buy it? Are they going to buy it every day? Are they going to get other customers for you? Or do they just think it's a great idea? So it becomes incumbent upon a new business to know that there is real demand and that their product is going to meet a real need in the marketplace and not just be a great idea that everyone likes. So, to give you an example of a company that actually launched a new product line, I'm going to take you on a bit of a field trip right now. Lefty's Brewery was begun by Bill Lefty Goldfarb and his now wife, Melissa Forestowski Goldfarb, in 2010. That's when they first opened their brewery. This interview you're about to see is in the brewery in 2013. So, by one aspect is a little dated because it was a number of years ago, but it's gold because it shows a business person in the beginning of a successful business launch dealing with the very issues that we've been discussing in this video and in my previous two videos. And as you know, majority, maybe up to 2/3 of new businesses fail within the first 5 or 6 years. Well, Bill is coming up on 10 years and he has made it and he's successful. So let's take a visit to Lefty's Brewery and see what he has to say about his product. Hi, we're here at Lefty's Brewing Company, one of the newest and fastest growing craft breweries in New England, and I'm here with Bill Lefty Goldfarb, who is the brains, the founder, the brewmeister, the owner of Lefty's Brewery. And today we're going to be talking about some of the aspects of this week's lesson on product line development, on distribution, and just going a little deeper into marketing than we have in the past. So Bill, start by telling me when you started this brewery and how many actual different brews or products you had at that time.
Shoot, I started the legwork for the brewery in 2009. I opened the doors in 2010. In March of 2010, I started brewing in January of 2010. And when I first opened up, I started with 6 different product lines. Those 6 were my Pale Ale, my IPA, my English Porter, my Coffee Porter, my Irish Stout, and my Chocolate Oatmeal Stout. And the reason that I started with those is I really wanted to provide the public with a wide variety of products, because different people have different tastes, have different palates, and I wanted everybody to be able to enjoy the product depending on the type of beer they enjoy.
So you started 3 years ago, with 6 different brews. Just out of curiosity, did people tell you 6 was too many, too little? Did they think you were crazy?
Everyone thought I was crazy. Nobody could figure out, from a brewery standpoint, they couldn't understand why I started with so many until I explained to them my reasoning. They still thought I was crazy, but they thought it was a wonderful idea.
Sure. And at the time, how many employees did you have?
It was just myself and my girlfriend.
And that was it? Everyone else was volunteer labor?
Exactly.
Friends who came and helped out?
Yeah.
So now we fast forward not too far. It's only been 3 years that you've been in business. How many products you have?
This is going to take me taking off my boots to count this high here. But shoot, we're looking at, let's see, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. And we have 2 more on the horizon for this year.
Now, are these 18 that you have all the time, or any of those seasonal or part-time, temporary?
No, a good chunk of them are seasonals or were, single releases, special releases. I do run 8 different varieties as full-time. All the others were either seasonals or were special releases. It all started with the special releases started with these 4 right here, which were it's a barrel-aged Scotch ale, and this project started with a fellow I work with, Rick from the New Salem General Store. He was getting the barrels directly from Jack Daniel, and he came to talk to me and asked if I wanted to make a beer with him that we'd age in here, in the Jack barrels. So I certainly said yes, and it became a wonderful project because I was able to work with, one of the outlets that sells my product. I was able to combine with them. We were able to work on this project together, promote it together.
So when you say it's a special release, for people not into the brewing business, which could be a lot of the viewers right now, what's a special release?
With this special release here, each of these beers were released one time only. So what I did is I started with, I had 4 barrels, so the type of barrel was a constant, as well as the type of beer that I put in it was a constant, it was the same exact type of beer. And the difference between each of these releases was the time that I aged it in the Jack Daniel barrel. So the part 1 I aged for 3 months, part 2 for 6, 3 for 9, and 4 for 12. So it was a wonderful way for me as a brewer, as well as for the consumer to see what aging a certain type of beer in a certain type of barrel for different amounts of time would do for that beer. So it was educational as well as delicious.
So, so once the delicious brews are gone, will you make them again, or is that a one-time only creation?
At least this project was a one-time creation. I will do barrel-aged Scotch ales in the future, but I will never do the 1, 2, 3, 4 series again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now I know you've had special, and I don't know what word you would use for it, a special release product, like a maple flavored, a bacon flavored. How do you come up with an idea for a new product, and what makes you think it's actually going to work?
A lot of these ideas will kind of come from either sitting down and having a couple pops and chatting with folks about it. A lot of customer feedback, because Melissa does a wonderful job really interacting with the public through social media, so that if any of my consumers has an idea, wants to see things changed a little bit, thinks something would really work well for us, we have that wonderful avenue, that we can discuss with the customers what they're thinking, what they might enjoy.
So Melissa is your girlfriend,
Yes,
and the real brains behind the entire operation.
absolutely.
And she's getting customer feedback, customer input on what they'd like to see next, and then passing that along to you
Absolutely.
as the artist to actually create that particular brew.
Yeah.
How did the bacon brew go?
Bacon brew, I felt went spectacular.
Really?
I really enjoyed it. It was a very difficult beer to make, just due to the 5 ingredients that I use in there, which were cocoa nibs, locally roasted coffee from Essalon and Hadley. The bacon that I dry hopped with came from Little Brook Farm down in Sunderland.
So you used actual bacon?
Yep. So I dry hopped in the bright tank with the bacon. So there's no actual bacon in the beer, but it was submersed kind of like a tea bag would be in the beer, so it would take the flavor out of the bacon.
Wow. What are some of the other flavors you've used in beers?
Some other stuff I've used. I use coffee. I use chocolate. I really enjoy using maple syrup. Being that we're in New England and maple syrup is all around us, I feel that it's a real important product to be using around here. So I have maple in both my maple ale, my maple oatmeal stout, as well as the breakfast stout.
Now, in promoting all of these different products, I know that you've gone through a change in your labeling operation. Tell us what you did and why, and what you're hoping to convey with the new labels on your products.
Really what we're trying to go for with these new labels on the product is just, I want them to be comfortable, I want them to be inviting, I want them to catch folks' eyes as soon as they look at it on the shelf there. I really want it to jump out but not be flashy. I want it to be intriguing to them. And it's really, the direction we're kind of headed in is with the Golden Ale label, as well as the Breakfast Stout label, and then this Graham Cracker, and these couple beers right here, the two Ryan and Casey's Imperial Chocolates, are with our new designer, who just has an amazing touch of really kind of making that label jump out. It makes you want to touch it, you know?
And I also noticed that, if I go to the supermarket and pick up a standard beer, the bottles are smaller than how you're bottling your product. Why did you choose this size bottle?
A couple different reasons that I chose the 22-ounce bottle. One of the first reasons is packaging-wise, we hand cap every bottle. So for production rates, a larger bottle makes a lot more sense for us. Second, I really feel that a product like this, a 22-ounce size bottle, is the perfect size. It's it's either for yourself, you can have a pint and change, or it's a perfect bottle to share with somebody. And I really, a big part of what our company does is, involvement in the community, involvement with other people, and if you can take a beer and you can share it with someone, that not only creates being able to have a good time with someone, but you enjoy the beer as well as the experience with them.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Let's switch a minute and talk about how your product is actually distributed. Now, you're in Western Mass. You're not outside of Massachusetts yet, correct? How do you decide who carries your product? How do you decide who carries your product, and how does it get there?
So when it comes to product placement, folks that we work with, I'd say about 90% of the locations we're at have called us, requested the product. And what we really enjoy about that right there is we like it when people come to us, because it means that they want that product, they want to sell that product, they're fully involved, because as a company we never want to make anybody do anything they don't want to. We don't want to push someone into carrying the product. We want them to want to carry it, want to sell it, want to be a part of Lefty's, if they're going to carry it in their store. And
it's only available in retail stores?
It's available at retail stores as well as restaurants and bars. So you can find it on draft throughout, I'd say, the surrounding 5 counties here.
So you're also filling kegs as well as bottles?
Correct.
Question out of left field for you. Tap pulls.
Yep.
Do you have your own?
I do.
You do?
Yep.
And where are they being made?
Those are being made right over the border in New Hampshire. So they're made by Green Mountain Tap Handles, right over the border in New Hampshire. So, you know, about a 20-minute ride away. Wonderful group of fellows up there, and you know, real pleasure working with someone this close. So we can, you know, if we want to go up and we want to watch them turn in those handles to make sure that they're coming out exactly how we want, we can drive up there in 20 minutes. We're, you know, watching the product be made for us.
So in the beginning, who drove up there? Who brings the bottles to the restaurants and all of these retail places?
I've actually been running deliveries ever since we got going, and I'd say in about a month's time I'll be handing over deliveries to a couple guys that'll be delivering for me, working for my company, but that will be driving the delivery truck. And up until now, I've been doing all the deliveries in my pickup truck. So we're just about to move on to a refrigerated box truck here.
So again, 3 years. You started with no employees except yourself and your girlfriend.
Correct.
With 6 different brews.
Yep.
Now you're over a dozen and a half, plus all sorts of special stuff. You used to drive the product yourself to the places that stocked it. Now you're investing in a refrigerator box truck.
Correct.
And hiring people to deliver it. How many employees do you have now?
Currently I have 3 full-time employees as well as myself and Melissa.
Who are double time.
Correct.
Yeah.
We always tell everyone 100 hours is a short week. But, you know, it's when I start on deliveries, I'm going to have 1 guy full-time and 1 guy 3 days a week.
Wow.
So we'll be up to about 4.5 full-time.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
What, now you've exploded in Western Mass. Anyone who knows you knows you've exploded in 3 years. What do you attribute that to? What has been most effective in terms of marketing your product and generating demand for it?
I'd say there's 2 things, but they kind of tie together. The biggest thing is just our involvement with the community and the community's involvement with the brewery. I mean,
example?
I mean, the best thing is, you know, like I said, lots of folks will usually come to us for the product. Friends, family, people we don't even know, you know, people that are fans of the product will go to their local establishments, will, you know, tell them, hey, I really want to see Lefty's on tap here. One thing that I've really come to find is that folks love being a part of Lefty's, and we love having folks be a part of Lefty's. So the community is just really kind of accepted the company, wants to be a part of the company, and that right there I think has been the biggest thing for us. And the other thing that ties into is the social media with what Melissa does. She does an amazing job utilizing that social media so that when folks will have a question, within 5 minutes she's back to them, whether it's Friday night or whether it's Sunday morning. She's always keeping in contact so that they feel a part of it, so that they know that when they ask a question, it's getting answered. They know that we're listening and we're thinking about what they're saying, and in turn, then they really feel like they're a part of what we're doing. Which,
by the way, is how we were able to nail down this interview, because I went through Melissa first.
That is true.
And, you know, I'll just reiterate, when I owned a bar up in New Hampshire, what made it special was that people believed they were part of something. There was a mug club, they bought their mugs, they had their own mugs hanging up on the ceiling. They took care of it for me. They cleaned the place for me. And I'll never forget, there was a time when someone who had never been to the bar came in, and they came up to the bar to let me know that the women's room was out of toilet paper. And the customers took the woman aside and said, "Oh, we'll show you where he keeps that." And they went and showed her, you know, where the stock was.
Yeah.
But people who were regulars there felt a part of it, and I definitely get the same sense that people who know Lefty's, who love Lefty's, feel a part, like want to be a part of what you've done here.
Yeah.
So in terms of effective marketing, it's the social media, it's the word of mouth, it's the fact that you've got a great product and people love it. And you're local, and you work with locals. Anything else you'd like to add on your distribution or your marketing or your product line or anything else?
I mean, I think I really just want to hit upon the fact that it's how much I've noticed, just the community involvement. And I know that, folks will usually really focus on community, but I've seen just how big it's been for the company, how much it's done for us, and just the fact that when you involve your neighbors, when you involve the people around you, not only are you just building a big family, a big community, you help them, they help you, and it's just spectacular what can actually be done when everyone comes together.
That's great. Lefty, it's been fantastic watching this company grow from an idea a few years ago to what you have now with employees and distribution and an incredible product line. And I am particularly in love with smoked porter. And I want to thank you very much for talking with us today.
Absolutely. It was a pleasure having you. Thank you so much.
Pleasure being here. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
All right.